All right. Hi, everyone. It's Karissa from Sun Control. We are back doing our regular weekly podcast, kind of more of a season 2. Today we have Brian here from Capital One Spark, and he's going to tell us a little bit about his past, his history, and everything that he's got going on. Welcome, Brian.
Thank you very much for having me.
Yes.
I appreciate it.
Yeah. So you are currently working up here in the Twin Cities. Tell us a little bit about where you are and what you're doing these days.
So I work for Capital One's small business team. So it's as of the first of the year now, we're business cards and payments. And I cover the state of Minnesota, primarily focusing on business credit card and purchasing card programs. So, one thing that I love about my job is I get to work with a lot of different types of companies, all shapes and sizes, and in a lot of different industries. So really anybody that's spending money to do their job is who I work with, but then also trying to be a resource and an advocate for my clients. I get to meet folks like you and then introduce them to clients that I have with the goal of helping, right, and being a resource.
Absolutely. So in your past, what kind of brought you to the role that you have today? Where did you start off and what led you back to Minnesota?
So this might be a little bit longer. I can summarize it a bit, but I'm sure there's questions that will come from that. So I grew up in the Twin Cities. I went to school at the University of North Dakota, was a broadcast journalism major.
Very cool.
I got offered a job out of school in that field and decided that, I think for a handful of reasons, I decided maybe that wasn't the route that I wanted to take, but I loved a lot that comes with that. So even doing an interview like this, I think is fun. The camera, the technology, all of it. And so I had promised myself that I will still do that as a hobby or on the side. So I still do. Today I'm a play-by-play broadcaster for a junior hockey team in Hudson, Wisconsin that's streamed on hockeytv.com. Cool. But knowing that, I love the idea of helping people. And I have always been motivated by success and money. And so I got into sales as my first job out of college, working for a company called SPS Commerce here in the Twin Cities.
I've heard of them.
Worked with them for a few years, took a job with 3M, and loved the idea that they wanted me to leave the state to go work somewhere else. So
where did you do that?
I got placed in Atlanta. Nice. Had never been there before. And I loved it. Loved my experience in Atlanta. I loved the people there, and that was really good for me for personal growth. Yes. To get out of, I went to school 5 hours from where I grew up, and life is different in the South in a lot of different ways. The culture is different. The people are different, and I am one that so I love to learn. I love experiencing new things, and so to get the opportunity to go make some new friends and really get outside of my comfort zone, I think growth happens outside of your comfort zone. I think you would.
Sure does, absolutely.
You would agree. Yes. And so to go get forced into a situation to be uncomfortable, and I grew up playing hockey in the Twin Cities, and who doesn't care about hockey? Anyone in Atlanta. Right. And so to kind of feel like there's a part of my identity that, I get an opportunity to grow. Yes. Yep. Which was really cool. I transitioned into this role. I was actually, had taken the tests. I was going down the path to be a financial advisor. Oh, cool. And someone that I knew from early on in my life had reached out and said, "Hey, we're hiring here at Capital One. I think you'd be a really good fit for this job." And so as I had focused, I jumped on a different career path that I was in the process of taking. Yep. There's a lot there. I was actually in San Diego at the time that I accepted this offer that I got the job offer from Capital One, which meant moving back home to Minnesota. Yep. And that was a hard decision for me to make, because I felt like yet again I like the idea of being outside of my comfort zone, and I was going to move back to Minnesota where I'm from, where things are safe and it's
you're not pushing those limits and those boundaries to know yourself too. Yeah.
But then I realized that, man, this is something that I'm going to be able to build a career here, really set up a foundation for my life where I've been and be near my family. I have two nieces and two nephews that are very important to me, and so
absolutely.
to be close to them and be a part of their growth and their upbringing was important for me. And also I just had to wrap my head around the idea that this isn't the easy way out.
No, right.
And so far I've been doing this for about 3 years, and I really love it. And it comes back to no day is the same.
Nope.
So Karissa, you and I met each other through in the construction world,
yes,
right?
Absolutely.
So we met through the AWC, Association for Women in Contracting.
Yep.
But as much as I work with a lot of contractors, I work with a lot of folks in the construction industry, I also get windows into these different worlds, these
yes.
different businesses, folks
yep.
that are doing, they're selling, it's e-commerce, they're selling
stuff.
online, or
yep.
they're digital marketing company. And I'm very intrigued by that.
Yeah.
The cool thing about my job is I get to learn how the heck did you get started? How do you make money?
Right.
How do you enjoy this? And there are some people that they make it a lot harder on themselves,
They do.
business owners,
Yes,
than some
absolutely.
others do. And it's cool to see all of that, because I think at some point, I like the idea of being a business owner, and this has given me a peek behind the curtain into it's not all glamorous.
No. It's not.
I mean, some of these conversations that we'll have about the financial side of things and how that comes, what that leads to at tax time, and a lot of that stuff is, it can be a headache, and it's hard to shut it off.
Yep.
I felt like that was long-winded, but that was...
that's great.
That's definitely how I got here, and it's part of why I love my job.
Yep.
And it's the behind-the-scenes look at, this isn't all glamorous.
It's not. There's
right?
a lot more to it than what people see. The behind the ropes, behind the scenes stuff, the way it all actually comes together, and then what people actually see are two different things.
Sure.
Without a doubt.
And especially, it's comparison is the thief of joy. It's something I truly believe in, and there will be times I meet with somebody for work, and I think, man, they have it all figured out. And then the more you get to have a conversation with that person, you realize, wow, no, they are just a human, just like I am, and they put their pants on one leg at a time in the morning.
Absolutely.
Well, most of them, I would imagine. That it is a little it's refreshing for me. I think at times I love to learn, and so I think everybody has something that I can learn from them.
Yes.
And at times I have to remind myself that, you deserve a seat at this table too. That even this, for example, that there is, I've had experience in my life that's worth sharing, because I think we said growth comes outside of your comfort zone, and failure leads to success, right? Or and that's that's a cool thing of speaking to these business owners. How the heck did you get into this? Half the time I just decided to start. One day I decided to start. I think that's been one of my biggest takeaways, is these people just jumped. At one point they said, hey, I'm going to do it. And whether it's, well, I was sick of working for somebody. I feel like I hear that often.
All the time, yes.
But it's, it does take some gumption and some confidence to make the jump and to figure it out. And there's always going to be a failure or a mistake or a hiccup, but if you learn from it and continue moving,
correct.
That's how people grow. And and then another thing I feel like I'm learning is the most successful people that I work with are the ones that surround themselves with smart people that they know that they're not the expert in everything, and so they bring people in, or they partner with people that have such high skill or value that gets them to a point where they're not doing everything, right? I think I can be a control enthusiast. I like to have control. I like structure as much as I love the laissez-faire part of life of being free. And it is the people that I see be successful are the ones that are good at delegating, that can really get that have buy-in from individuals and trust with their employees too. I mean, I'm sure you've seen it in your world. I feel like you have a lot of trust around here.
Well,
actually.
We have to, absolutely. We have a great team, and that's part of it. We're always willing to grow and change and add those teammates in that'll help us figure out the correct process, what's going to make your job easier to work smarter, not harder.
Sure.
So you're always growing, you're always changing, and adding those teammates, having those people, and knowing also, I think, with us or with anybody in the world, when you put yourself around positive energy and positive people, you can grow to the next level. Then it's like, okay, I know you guys, I know your level, I know where you're at, let's keep growing and let's see who's at the next table and what we can bring to them.
And I will say it's interesting that not every business owner, not every person or company thinks that way, right? So, and it's, I think that's something that I noticed about you in Sun Control right away, is that you're trying to do things a little bit differently and keep up with times are changing, right?
They
and a way to be in front of that as opposed to lag behind. And especially if you are someone that loves control, those people tend to love things the way that they are or the way that they were, right? And like things are, the only constant is change, right? And it's it's actually funny. When I deal with change in my world, I have to remind myself, like, Brian, on your resume, it says adapts well to change, right? And I think a lot of people
going back to that,
and a lot of people do, but at the same time, like, all right, so if I tout myself as this person that is willing to change, then I can't be stuck in my ways, right? Or maybe we're going to need to delete that off of my resume or whatever it is.
Else, like, can be willing to change or
whatever. Sure. Half the time.
Maybe, we'll see, but So you do a lot with, obviously, your financial side of stuff, and take me a little bit back on your broadcasting. I know you've done a lot with the hockey systems. You did some stuff back in the University of North Dakota. What keeps you excited and still into all of that? Is it being in front of the camera? Is it, seeing the things actually live and happening? Or
it's actually, I kind of forgot that I should maybe make a little more eye contact over there. So one thing that's really interesting, and you've probably heard this before, but they say that if you are, like, a news reporter is always reporting on the bad.
Right.
You are around for someone's worst day.
Yep.
And you think of like a fire at someone's home or some sort of a
or
loss.
Yep.
Where a sports reporter tends to be around someone's best day. It's achievement. It's glorifying the hard work that was put in behind the scenes that nobody sees.
Right.
You get to see the product of that.
It unfold.
With somebody holding up a trophy or whatever that is. I love that part of it. Especially what I'm doing now, where I work directly with a team. I love watching the gentlemen, the players on this team are anywhere between 18 and 21 for the most part. And to see someone, what they looked like, what they played like at 18 compared to the year that they're going to leave, and see that growth.
That's huge.
And especially, one thing I would say that I've learned through this that I'm not good at is identifying, well, I guess I can't say I'm awful, but identifying potential.
Right.
There are certain players on this team that when they came in, I thought, wow, I don't know if that guy's going to make it. And now they're the best player on the team. And there is something to be said, and it's so impressive, these coaches that see that. So I would say it is a part of the growth. And, it's something that I enjoy doing. I enjoy being around it. And one thing I've noticed, people love to criticize the Monday Night Football commentator or the person that's doing the Vikings or the Packers game or whatever it is, and it's a great reminder for me when you go and do it is, man, this isn't as easy as you think it is. Even in a situation like this where I felt very prepared coming into here, and then you sit down and we start chatting, and that all just went out the window.
Or I'm going to watch it backwards on the back end and be like, man, I said right a lot, or I agree.
For sure,
the little things that people see and hear, like, you start critiquing yourself just like you think everybody else critiques you. So it's kind of, to me, I mean, obviously to you too, it's not easy.
No, and as the host, right? It's totally a thing of you have a plan, you have an idea where you want this to go, and then sometimes your brain just
it's all out the window, and now we're absolutely.
I gave a wedding speech a couple months ago, and the bride and groom just sent it to me recently to great job, you should take a look at this. And I watched about 10 seconds of it and was just like, I have to turn this off. It is so cringy. And even in like having done broadcasting, I'll go back and listen to clips. But and that's one thing that I love about hockey versus any other sport when it comes to broadcasting is hockey's always moving.
Yes.
I've done both baseball and football, and there's a lot of downtime, and you're trying to find the best way to fill that, where it does feel like when the puck is dropped,
forced chat or anything. Yes.
When the puck is dropped and the play is moving, you're you're just saying what's going on. And that's actually, that's kind of what led me to the play-by-play as opposed to being a reporter or, you know, there's so many shows, especially if you look at like ESPN now during the day, it's all someone having an opinion on something and having a take.
Right.
Right?
Right.
And that's just really not my personality. And so I like the idea of explaining what's going on. I think I can be a good communicator. The listeners can disagree with me if they would like. But I love play-by-play because you're saying what's happening and it's not my reaction to it. Because I do believe, oh my gosh,
that was the greatest thing ever, or oh wow, look at that. And it might be, you know, you don't know the hours or something that happened that led up to that point in the game, or that led up to the field goal or whatever it may be.
And that's just, it's just not in my, it's not in, and I don't mean to sound like holier than thou or anything, but I'm just not one that, I'm not one that is, I just don't pass judgment. I try not to, right? It's something that I would say I pride myself on. And so to have that, like if that was your full-time job, that would just be exhausting.
It would be. And everybody has a comment on every little thing that you do and say.
For sure.
Just like they do in the regular world, right? So you've done the broadcasting, you worked at 3M. Tell me a little bit more, you know, about your Spark businesses now that you deal with a lot with the small businesses, with the ebbs and flows, the highs, the lows, everything like that. What are you seeing out there from the small businesses more so with the economy the way it is today?
You know, it's interesting that I think as much as I know, like I'm having conversations, I know the economy is something we are focused on, and you know, we're not too sure what it's going to look like. But man, businesses are still thriving, if you ask me. You agree?
I agree. Yeah. I mean, in our world, whether through everything that we've gone through, they still want to do business. They still want to grow. They're trying to do any and every mean that they can. From what I see, probably what you see, to step outside the box like we are, to grow, to get that to the next level. They have hit failures, they have hit those little bumps in the road, but they learn from them just like you do, just like I do.
Sure.
So, yes.
Yeah, and I think there is some resiliency and tenacity that comes with that. And I do. I mean, there are folks that are having tough times now, right? I don't want to minimize that, but I do believe that there are. I mean, people are still out there. Consumers are still consuming, and you know, there's a lot of businesses that need to be done. That those houses are still being built. Maybe there's not as many of them, but you know what? A storm came through last May, and there's still roofs that need to be fixed and replaced.
Or they build up instead of building out. You know, there's different ways that they find their growth, for sure.
So yeah, it is. It's something that I do feel like, and it's something that we will be concerned of or pay attention to, I think is a great way to put it. But at the same time, businesses are still growing, and there are people out there that are going to have a record year this year.
Yep. So you've done a lot with the networking, as have I. What are some of your fun things that you look forward to when you do some of those with the networking events, things like that? Do you enjoy getting out there and meeting new people? Do you kind of like seeing where some of the smaller networks go? What do you find works for you?
Sure. So this is, you know, we are part of a couple groups together. And I love those conversations of, well, what do you do and how the heck did you get into this? Right? I mean, there are so many different ways to make money and make a living in this world. And it is so fun for me to hear what those stories sound like, right? And then, I mean, and so to me, that is first. And then, you know, if there's a way for me to help, you know, you grow your business, that is outstanding. But for me, it's just to hear, how the heck did you get into this thing, and what does that look like day to day, and then hearing about the painful parts too. I'd be curious what you enjoy, because I think you like meeting new people.
Absolutely, yes. It's big. It's fun for me. I mean, I wake up hungry every day. I want to say, okay, how can I help grow the business? How can we bring new people in? What realms can we do other than what we're already doing? Obviously, the podcasts, the marketing, going to all the networking events, but not being afraid to pick up that phone or stop in those businesses, getting to the headhunters, the sharks, the whales, getting past the gatekeepers.
Sure.
I could have a game plan for today and say, hey, this is what I want to do, and 10 seconds later, guess what? It's changed, I'm going here, and I'm out the door.
So you're human.
Everybody's human, right? But yeah, I mean, some days it's 3 or 4 networking events a day. Sometimes it's picking up the phone and calling 200 or 300 people. You never know what the day is going to bring.
Well, and I think that's something we have in common of, I work with so many different types of businesses, and so do you, yes. Right? There's so many different services that Sun Control has that, places. So I got a tour of this place a couple weeks ago, and I thought I had a good understanding of what your business is, and it's even more than that, right? There is a lot, and it seems like there's solutions for a lot of problems.
Yep, we have solutions from every homeowner, car owner, business owner, whatever it is. We can help with the obstacles, but we can also help make your life a little more enjoyable too. Something fun, something not fun. I mean, you name it, we do it. And when you think Sun Control, nobody thinks that until we get them in the door. So I love bringing people in for lunch and learns. I mean, kind of like we did you. And you kind of do the same, just going to those businesses, finding out really the heart and soul, what started them, but now where they're going and where they want to go in the future.
I mean, it is just crazy. One thing that I'm learning in this world is there's certain places that are great to have a niche in your business.
Yeah.
But if what you just said, how many people have a car,
right.
And how many people own a home or own a business that has windows?
Yep.
You have a huge,
or walls,
huge
graphics.
Yeah,
I mean,
sure.
You name it, we can do it. We can help anybody, and not many businesses can say, hey, we're kind of a niche, like doing your broadcasting with hockey players. Okay, well, you're doing it with hockey players. There are other areas that you could go into, but you're just in your lane right now, where we're trying to kind of expand and see how many people in the nation we can touch.
Sure.
Yep.
Well, and that's one reason why I had sought you out the first time I met you is there's a Sun Control advertisement in the arena in Hudson where we do the hockey game. So it's like I'm seeing this brand often, and it's it's because it's in different places. And now I have a friend who loves to say, someone needs to interact with your brand 8 times before they're going to engage with it. Absolutely. And sometimes those numbers change. But you do believe in that?
Yes, absolutely. I mean, I don't know. One thing that, Randy, our owner, is huge on, which he's installed in all of us. He's kind of the Yoda of window film, but he wants us to be omnipresent. He wants everybody to see us, to think of us, maybe not now, but in the future. Hey, you see our vehicles all over the road. You see our ads on TV, or you see a billboard that we've done, or like you said, the hockey arenas, or I can go somewhere now, just walking down the mall, and they're like, hey, Chris, I'm like, where's your name tag? Because name tags are huge, especially at those events, or just seeing people and really starting to get to know their stories.
Sure.
After you see them at the events, wherever you're at, but omnipresent and seeing something multiple times so it sticks in your head for when you need it. Yes.
Sure. So the Capital One Spark Business, the division I'm a part of, we have a commercial that has ran for the last year, the Antonelli's Cheese Shop.
Yep. And I think everybody knows that one.
Yeah,
it sticks. Yes,
and that why I brought that up was it's at this point if somebody doesn't know like what I do, which I actually run into quite a bit.
Yes.
But did you watch March Madness? Yep.
Right.
Did you see the Antonelli's Cheese commercial? That's that green card. That's the card that I sell.
Yep. So the green card, you've touched a lot of small businesses. Where do you personally want your growth to go with Spark Business next? Do you think kind of staying more local in the Twin Cities area, or kind of getting outside of that?
I think personally, just because this is where I'm at, it's the Twin Cities, but also where I was in a few weeks ago. I was in Marshall, Minnesota, and I actually have family from there.
Yep.
And it is just so as I would say that the state of Minnesota, and really everywhere in the country, there's folks that have my job around the country.
Right.
But it is pretty cool to bring value to folks outside of this inner ring of the circle.
Right.
Or inner ring of the cities, right? Just call it the ring of suburbs where, I stopped into a business that's a current client, but they weren't expecting me. I just wanted to say, hey, I'm in town. I drove by.
Yep.
Come on, sit down. Like they're treating me like I'm their nephew, or a part of their family, and that is cool. So
yes. You don't get that a lot around here. It's like, hey, I'm gonna quick bring you a pizza, or hey, I'm gonna drop you off some donuts, and kind of be shuffled out the door just to let them see who you are. But you hit right on the spot when you get to some of those smaller or outside of the little ring of the hustle and bustle of the Twin Cities, even to the Duluth area, the Rochester area, Mankato, their pace and their welcomeness is changing, and it's different than sometimes where we're at today up here.
And I love how welcoming folks have been, or I'm in New Ulm or wherever it is that people are. That part is cool. So I guess that's something that I'm trying to focus on is getting out, being out on the road and learning. We were talking about learning about people and hearing their story. Well, it's pretty cool. And one of the gentlemen I met with, I'll try not to be too long-winded here. He had told me, and not to give up too much information, but wow, this particular supply store in our area was going to go out of business, and you know what? There's I can't remember how many people, 120 people in our town, and that's 11 jobs.
Yikes.
And so he took it upon himself to, hey, I'm going to buy that business and to keep those people employed. Like, I had never heard something like that. Like, that is cool. Those are the stories that need to be shared.
Yep. And that you want to hear grow, and you want those people to be awarded, or just people know who they are because they're going above and beyond what they normally do to keep people employed, keep people housed.
So those are the people you want to work with,
absolutely.
Right? I think that's something I'm really learning after. So I've been doing this for about 3 years, and it's those are the type of people you want to work with that you can like have a good relationship, and not that person that is very demanding and can be rude. Like if they're like that early on, those people tend to be tough to work with.
Right.
All the time, I guess.
I agree. So you've done a lot of traveling. Obviously, you've gone to Georgia. You've gone, did broadcasting other places. You grew up, went to school here in Centennial. You're back in the Twin Cities.
Go Cougars.
Yep, you're doing that's. I went to a baseball game for the Cougars last night, and they won their first game. So, but where do you find yourself staying here for a while or growing next? Or?
I do.
Yeah. Good.
I do. So right now I'm in St. Paul. I love it there. One thing that's cool is I'm pretty close to the airport. So and that was a goal for me, was to be close enough to where I can travel and it's easy to do so.
You're doing that right after this?
Yes, I am. So I have a good friend that moved to Sacramento, so I'm headed down there, and then we'll go to Lake Tahoe as well, which I certainly enjoy. So we were talking before this, it's not every weekend trip that you can go play golf on a Friday and go skiing on a Saturday. They got so much snow in Northern California that's
crazy.
I heard my Minnesotan accent there, so that was definitely something in Atlanta that I got a lot of kids and grief about, was the way I say bag and the way I say roof.
Right.
So it's bag and roof.
Bag and roof.
I'm learning.
Well, I have a feeling like when you do traveling, and I'm going to be going to Ireland in July, but you tend to start picking up on the lingo, the way they speak.
Oh, you're going to come back.
I don't want to go down there and come back with an Irish accent or something else, or just...
You're going to.
You never know. Like, I absolutely will.
Stop at the pub for a pint. So now that's a newer... You probably haven't shared that with the listeners yet, that's
nope,
that's
I have not.
Because this season 2, this is new.
Season 2, this is brand new. Yep.
So you have to tell them where you're headed.
We are heading in July, the end of July. We're going to be heading to Southern Ireland. We're going to be playing some golf courses down there. We're going to take a week off. Phones will be off. Which is rare. That's rare for Karissa. It'll be off, but we will take some videos, some pictures to share with family. Other than that, no work. Fingers crossed. We'll see. But that's going to be exciting. I can't wait. It's something I've looked forward to all my life. Bucket list item. And speaking of bucket list items, you're going to be going to Switzerland?
Yes.
Yes. Tell us a little bit about that.
Yep. So we'll fly into Geneva. My girlfriend's mom is from southern France, so she has a lot of family there. We're going to go visit an aunt that lives in France, outside of Geneva, Switzerland. We'll go hang out in the Alps for a few days, and then we're going to Split, Croatia after that. So it was kind of a choose your own adventure tale with this vacation. We knew we were going to go to Geneva, and then weren't too sure where to go after. And apparently Croatia is like the hot spot right now.
Fun.
So it's kind of a mountain vacation for the first half, and the beach for the second half.
A little bit of both to make it more of an adventure.
Yes. So this is kind of a plug for how great your graphics are. In Karissa's office, there is a beautiful photo of a golf course
Yep.
Now, you have to remind me, is that the golf course you're going to? One of the golf courses
One of the
you're going
walls
to?
I'm going to. It's Old Head of Kinsale in Ireland. The other one's Pebble Beach in California, which
Got it.
is, those are my 2 bucket list courses. It was the year I said, okay, we're gonna go do one. Let's go to Ireland. Threw in the
I love
towel,
it.
bought the trip, booked it, done.
You might have to get a big red X graphic, or maybe a check mark.
I'll just
all right,
mark
we
where
did
my
that
ball's
one.
been when on the golf course as we go.
Hopefully that's just one ball and it's just in the fairway.
As long as the wind's not 60 mile an hour and the wind and the rain's blowing, that's typical Irish weather, right?
Sure.
So I'm gonna come back being wind burnt, rain poured on, and have an Irish accent. We'll see.
Yep. I played on Sunday for the first time this season, and it was so windy.
Yep.
And one of the friends I was going with wasn't sure if I don't know about the wind. I don't know about the weather. And it was so fun to get out.
It is. It's,
to just go have some fun, especially in that when it's early in the season, we're all just out there to just swing the club and have fun.
Yep.
It's not like we're playing against each other, really focusing on our scores. It was just, we call it a Sunday friendly.
Yep.
We did a couple of those last
Nice.
year, and that Sunday friendly was great.
Yep.
Last Sunday at Highland in St. Paul.
oh, fun. And Highland is growing from what I've heard a little bit. They're making some changes to it, so that'll be fun to play that. I haven't played that in probably, just like any golf course around here in about a year.
Yeah.
So it'll be fun. But yeah, golf is one of those things, good or bad. It'll get your mind off everything you have going on, and you can do business on the golf course too.
Sure.
So
Well, one thing that helped too is we were walking. I tend to play a lot better when I'm walking.
I do
It's
too.
less distractions,
You
less
focus
conversation.
more. Yep.
Yes, it's like you're out there to play golf and not so much to socialize, which I can get caught up in at times.
all the golf scrambles and all the fun stuff you have going on, yes.
Like at that point, I'm focusing on what we were just laughing about,
Right.
and not like, hey,
actually
do
gonna
I
hit
even
the
have the
shot,
right club
right?
now? Because
Walking over there with a 3-wood and it should be a 9-iron. Sorry,
Right.
I was in that
Yep.
conversation.
I have done that before, for sure.
Yeah, great. So you have a lot going on. Sounds like you have your feet set in a lot of different networks. You're growing. You're back in Minnesota. It's super exciting to have you here today.
Yeah.
We look forward to seeing where you go, working with you in the future, and obviously see at all the events we have coming up.
Sure. Well, and I would love to plug Capital One, or
Please do, yes.
specifically the Spark Business Card that I'm a representative of. So we did just roll out our Venture X for Business program.
Nice.
This week. So
Yep.
it's Venture X is a great travel card that's been on the personal side of things for a long time. We just recently this week rolled it out for business. So the card, and then the Spark Business Card that I work with is 2% cash back on all of your purchases, which folks tend to love.
Yes.
So now this is the same, but instead of getting your rewards as cash, it's you get 2 times miles.
Wow.
And you can book book your travel through Capital One itself, which I'm a venture card holder myself. I love the ease of use of the travel program itself.
Right.
But I work with, like I said, businesses of all shapes and sizes, and we do. I also now work with commercial card programs. So for a little larger companies,
Good.
We do have solutions for whether your
Everybody.
business is big or small, or whatever it looks like. We do have solutions for you.
Where are you guys located?
Capital One itself is in DC.
Yep.
The DC area. So I am myself and a couple colleagues are in the state of Minnesota. So I'm a field rep. So I'm out and about meeting with clients and then working from home.
And how can people get a hold of you after they leave here and say, hey, this is a great idea, I want the 2% cash back?
Well, and it's interesting too that if this sounds like something that maybe isn't for the listener that's listening, I do work with all different types of companies, and there's somewhere I was going with that. How can they get a hold of me? Well, I imagine this will be posted on LinkedIn, and I'll be tagged, so please reach out to me that way. But I was at an event last week. where I was going with previously was there's a lot of people that don't know that we exist.
Right.
That there is a dedicated human being in your community.
Yep.
That I focus specifically on business credit card and purchasing card programs.
Correct.
That I am a resource, and if you're looking at a different program, like I've been living in this world where I know the good things about other programs as well as the good things about ours.
And you're a great connection for the company too, so you can help source them to the right area, the right
Sure.
person, whoever that may be too.
And maybe that, maybe that's not a business credit card, but it's something else that, I've gotten to work with so many folks that I can help point you in the right direction. I love the idea of being a resource for somebody.
Right. And I know we've talked about, how can Sun Control help you? How can you help us? I mean, that's part of growing, and that's part of being who we are, just being out in the network and saying, hey, fresh in my mind when someone says, hey, how can I get a hold of somebody or do something like that? I'm going to be like, hey, Brian, I have a customer, or I have a client, or I have a small business that's looking for a card or wants some information, here you go.
Well, in the point earlier of people don't know that I exist, the other thing is there's a lot of people that have been running their business for so long and they have a set process.
Yeah.
And they're not aware that, hey, you can, the same way that you're doing things today, paying your vendor with a check, you can do that with a business credit card and earn 2% cash back while you're doing it.
Why wouldn't you not?
Correct.
It's kind of a no-brainer.
But oftentimes it's not something that they knew was available to them, or they didn't know that, hey, that vendor accepts a card and they're more than willing to do that and then help put some money back in your pocket in the meantime.
Absolutely. That's huge. And for you to just share that with all the viewers, everybody that's going to be here, or put them in the right hands to a person that you can help out is definitely huge.
Yes. Well, thank you so much for having me.
Yeah, we appreciate having you here, and we look forward to getting you out on the golf course, and I'm sure we'll see you next week at a couple events and keep it rolling.
All right. Well, thank you.
Brian. Thank you.
Thank you.
Yep.